Cardano is very interesting. It's one of the top cryptocurrencies. It's in the top 10 in terms of market cap, yet the attention is definitely not top 10. Nobody is talking about Cardano. The price is also quite low. The question is, does it make sense to buy now? In the end, crypto is all about buying low and then selling high when all of the attention comes back. In this video, we're going to look at the data most people are not considering. We're going to look at relative valuation charts. We're going to look at relative trading ranges. We're trying to answer the question, is this now the right time to buy? Let's start. So here's an overview of the major cryptocurrencies. Cardano is at place number 9 with a market cap of 26 billion. In the last 3 months, it had been one of the worst performing cryptocurrencies. But Cardano has been around for a long time. What we see over here is 2018. So this is now 7 years ago. At the time, Cardano was at place number 6. Now it's at place number 9. Not many altcoins were able to stick around, right? Litecoin fell way more, Bitcoin Cash as well. Nobody's talking about Neo or Stellar or EOS anymore. What used to be highly performing cryptocurrencies back in the days are now barely considered in 2025. But Cardano is still around. Now here's a US dollar chart of Cardano since 2018. We've got our highs and we've got our lows, and the volatility is massive. From the low in March of 2020 to the high in August of 2021, Cardano went up by more than 13,000%. But then, of course, on the other hand, if you buy at the wrong time, when everybody talks about Cardano, and then you sell at the wrong time, you can go down by more than 90%. But here's a problem with charts like this. This does not include what happens with all of crypto. Because of course, when Bitcoin goes up, when Ethereum goes up, then all the altcoins, including Cardano, goes up as well. It's all about relative valuations. How much can we outperform the rest of the market by taking on more risk by buying an altcoin? And so that's why I like charts like this much more. This is the Cardano dominance. So ADA.D. How much of all of crypto is in Cardano when we just compare market caps. And this tends to peak at 4.5, 4.6%, and it tends to bottom at 0.4%. From the bottom in March of 2020 to the top in August of 2021, we got roughly a 10x, and the rallies tend to be faster than the bear markets. Now, currently, we are not at the absolute bottom, right? Potentially, we could underperform the rest of crypto by another 50%, but the upside is a gain of more than 400%. Now, here is how I fundamentally see this. I do not think that the dominance chart is actually the best. I think the relative valuation chart of Cardano, in this case, to Bitcoin is more useful because Bitcoin is the benchmark. Bitcoin tends to outperform most altcoins most of the time. Thus, if we deviate from investing in Bitcoin into something else, we should outperform. And so here we've got our Cardano relative to Bitcoin chart. A massive rally during the ICO boom at the end of 2017, then a subsequent collapse. There's no other word for this. In the following bear market, Cardano underperformed Bitcoin by 95%, and then our revival, which started in December of 2020. Again, a gain of roughly 10x. Now I can see how the ratio of Cardano to Bitcoin tends to bottom out at very similar levels over time. Again, we are not at the absolute bottom. We could underperform Bitcoin by another 40% or so. But here's a potential scenario. Have a look at those 2 red circles. It seems like after a bear market, we first see a short-term recovery, then we come back down, and then the bull market tends to happen. Potentially, there is some more pain ahead. If we overlay the price movements of 2020 and 2021 to today, we could see potentially something similar, right? This is very comparable. Now, why did Cardano rally that much starting from December of 2020? I think ADA was able to ride the altcoin season quite successfully. The question then, of course, is when will we see the next altcoin season? I think the best indicator for that is the Bitcoin dominance. So how much of all of crypto is now in Bitcoin? When that's very high, in other words, when the altcoins are very depressed, that's a potential situation to buy into those depressed alts. Have a look at this. This is the Bitcoin dominance, and those red circles over here indicate when we saw the altcoins doing better than Bitcoin. So this is when Bitcoin dominance crashed. This is when the altcoins performed very, very well. And of course, initially, pretty much all of crypto was Bitcoin, but then came the launch of Ethereum, which brought the Bitcoin dominance in somewhat of a trading range. Unfortunately, we are still pretty far away from those 70-something%. We are currently at only 61%, and the Bitcoin dominance isn't growing as quickly as it used to. And so it's hard to say how long it will take until we hit those very extreme levels again, right? Maybe we have to wait until summer of 2026, which would then in turn mean that this move will slow down and stretch quite a bit. That would actually not be too much of a surprise, because in general we see now how bull markets tend to extend, and so do bear markets as well. The crypto markets simply expand over time, right? They need more and more capital to grow, and it takes time to attract all of that additional capital. When a market matures, the price movements tend to slow down. They tend to be less radical. But what about the usage of Cardano? Cardano also has a DeFi ecosystem, right? An ecosystem of decentralized finance. And this is the total value locked measured in US dollars for Cardano. Of course, we've got our waves here as well. And a lot of those price movements, those swings, are actually due to the Cardano price itself swinging up and down. So when we change this from US dollars to ADA denominated, we can see a nice wave of adoption during the year of 2023, but that has halted since then, unfortunately. What is interesting is that 2023 had not necessarily been a particularly great year for Cardano, right? This is the Cardano dominance. We went down to then come up again, then to come back down again. Pretty much sideways movement. Again, while the decentralized finance usage of Cardano during that time went up. Here is my take with all of this. I do believe that most altcoins will continue to underperform. We have to first see the altcoins getting to extremely depressed levels. Yes, I know that some altcoins are already very low, especially the AI agents and the meme coins. The tokens that did very well in the last few months, they are now getting depressed. But the overall market, as in all of altcoins, they are not yet at rock bottom levels. And this chart here is a testament to that. This is the total 3 dominance. So that's currently at 28%. How much of all of crypto is now in the altcoins that are not in the top 10? So Cardano is not part of this chart. Only the smaller altcoins are in here. But again, in December of 2020, when this was very, very low, that's when we got the Cardano to Bitcoin outperformance of 1000%. We are not yet at those low levels. Unfortunately, the altcoins relative to all of crypto, relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum, etc., can still drop by more than 36%. And really the question is, how quick will that drop happen? Do we have to wait again until summer of 2026, or are we going to see a faster sell-off of the altcoins? Altcoin trading is really about timing, right? If you don't time it right, it's impossible to make these nice returns. It's all about buying when nobody else wants to buy. Of course, the attention is already low, but the selling pressure seems to not yet have subsided. I believe the Cardano dominance is likely going to continue to fall in the following months. Of course, if you think otherwise, you might just buy now and then buy more again and then buy more again. Simply dollar cost average into Cardano, but you have to be mentally prepared for temporary losses at least. Really, there are 2 ways to make money in crypto. Either we try to find the needle in the haystack, right? The one altcoin that does a multiple X return. And during a bull market, this can be a viable strategy, especially if we've got a lot of on-chain analytics. But during a market that is not expanding that quickly anymore, it's a very, very dangerous game to play. The second approach, and the much less common approach, is to get the odds in our favor, not against our favor. So we don't try to find the 25% that outperform. We just bet on the 75% to continue to underperform. So we bet on falling prices of altcoins that we think are especially weak. For example, here, right? I've shown this several times on this channel. This is the Balancer altcoin. So that's a decentralized finance token relative to Bitcoin. And this is a very constant underperformance, and we can make money with that underperformance. In the last year, Balancer underperformed Bitcoin by 75%. This can be alpha. We can make money 75% in a year when we bet on Balancer doing worse than BTC. The reason for the underperformance is of course tokenomics, and this is why most altcoins do so poorly. Over time, the early investors and the team gets token unlocks, right? They get more and more allocation that they can then sell, and of course after a while they do sell, right? After years of development and after years of waiting, they do sell the allocation, and that then makes those altcoins do worse compared to Bitcoin. Of course, when all of crypto is going up, then the altcoins go up as well in US dollars, but they don't go up more than BTC. That's why we see this long-term underperformance. And so I made various tutorial videos on that approach, right? On not trying to find the one lottery ticket, on simply just compounding money high and consistent over time. So this is how to win in bear markets by shorting altcoins. There are more than 100 tutorial videos in total. This is all part of premium. It's not just all about betting on falling prices. It's also about risk management. It's also about portfolio allocation. It's also about on-chain analytics. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 US per month, and there's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first 7 days. Feel free to binge watch all the videos, message me after 7 days, and if you did not get enough value out of it, I'll refund you 100%, really zero questions asked. There's zero risk for you. Looking forward to seeing you again here on YouTube. Feel free to also give this video a like, it helps the channel grow, and of course, see you also in premium. Cheers!